Good evening, students and listeners. I hope you are doing well. This is our first radio lecture for educational technology, Introduction to Educational Technology. And with me in the studio is Mr. Gordon Owusu from Pong. Gordon is an MPhil student in the Department of Educational Foundation, so he's here to support me. My name is Dr. Joseph APPIANING, your EduTech lecturer. Now, the topic for discussion is synchronous versus asynchronous learning. Synchronous versus asynchronous learning. And by the end of this radio lecture, we should be able to explain what synchronous learning is, at least 3 merits of synchronous learning and 3 demerits of synchronous learning. You should also be able to explain what asynchronous learning is. At least 3 merits and 3 demerits of asynchronous learning. So when we say asynchronous learning, what do we mean? Now, asynchronous learning, asynchronous and synchronous learning are part of e-learning, and e-learning is a broad term. When you say e-learning, it stands for electronic learning. And what is electronic learning? So electronic learning or e-learning is a system or a tool which will enable the teacher to teach and the learner to learn anywhere, anytime. And we have 2 types of e-learning, which is the synchronous learning or e-learning, and then asynchronous e-learning. Now let's start with the definition or explanation of what synchronous learning is. Now, synchronous learning is a learning method where teaching and learning happen in real time. A learning method where teaching and learning happen in real time. What do I mean by real time? The teacher and the learner are connected in real time, in the sense that if we take Zoom, for example, when we organize a Zoom section or meeting or lecture, the teachers and the learners are connected. And so a teacher can ask a question, or maybe after the teacher has delivered the lesson, the student can ask questions. The lecturer can also ask the students questions. Now, let's give examples of synchronous learning technologies. I mentioned Zoom. So Zoom is one. And real-time chat is also an example. So for example, if you send a message to me as your EduTech lecturer, you are having a learning difficulty or you need explanation of a concept. If you send a WhatsApp message to me and I respond, in that case, the WhatsApp becomes synchronous learning tool or technology, because there is immediate feedback. There is interaction between me and you. Another example of synchronous learning technology has to do with Facebook Live, and even what we are doing now. Yeah. This radio lecture is an example of a synchronous learning, because we are connected in real time. And after the delivery of this lecture, we are going to open the phone lines to accommodate your contributions and questions. So the radio lecture is an example of synchronous learning technology. All right, let me ask Gordon, maybe you also want to add something to the definition.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Doc. You see, during the time of Olympic Games, see, we have synchronous diving.
Okay.
What happens is 2 or 3 divers do things at the same time. Yes. So when it comes to e-learning too, the learner and then the instructor learn, the content is being delivered, and then the instructor and the student also benefit from the content at the same time with specific place. When they are using Zoom, for example, you talked about Zoom. We have Microsoft Teams that we can use for synchronous lesson. We also have Adobe Connect and then WebEx. They are all tools that we can use for synchronous learning. So with this, real-time teaching and learning happens. Yeah, so for this time too, I think this one mimics traditional classroom. You see, in traditional classroom, the teacher and then the learner both will be present at the same time. Yeah, so that's what we call it, synchronous
Another
learning.
example of synchronous learning technology has to do with Google Meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can use Google Meet to organize a live section.
Yeah.
So anytime there is interaction between the learner and the teacher, or the learner and the teacher and the learners.
Yes. Yes.
All right, then we are talking about synchronous learning.
Yeah.
So what are some of the advantages of synchronous learning?
Yeah.
Now, there are, we can talk of a number of benefits or merits, but the main advantage of or merit of synchronous learning has to do with immediate feedback.
Exactly.
When I say immediate feedback, you remember earlier when I said that when we organize a Zoom meeting, for example, this learner can ask the instructor question.
Yeah.
The instructor can also ask the learner or learners questions.
Exactly.
So there is immediate feedback.
Exactly.
So that is one main advantage. There are other advantages.
Exactly.
Well, then we can also talk about.
Okay, so thank you very much. Another advantage is learning becomes engaging. Like there's a high level of engagement especially when the instructor is endowed with digital pedagogies, where he's able to meet diverse learning style, the needs of the learners, because some are auditory learners, visual learners, because during the live section they can use the chat forum to ask, and then so the learner can ask question. Maybe some learners prefer to talk to, like he preferred the voice to be heard without displaying the body. So with that, the learner can switch off the the video, thereby asking question auditorily. Some learners prefer to even ask question by typing, so they can use the chat box to ask. So with this, it can meet it's a good learning system whereby the learner or the instructor can meet diverse needs, but like a wide range of learning style. So with this, learning becomes effective and efficient. Engagement level becomes very high. So I think there's another benefit of it.
Okay. Maybe at this point, a student may be wondering whether face-to-face lecture is synchronous. It is not.
Yes.
That is face-to-face. We are talking about electronic learning. That was why I started by talking about e-learning.
Yeah.
E-learning stands for what?
Electronic learning. Yeah.
So anytime you are using electronic means to organize a live section, it is synchronous.
Exactly.
You can't talk about face-to-face because face-to-face is done in a brick and mortar. That is a classroom.
Yes.
Exactly. All right. Now, another merit or advantage of synchronous learning has to do with the fact that the teacher is able to monitor students' progress in real time. Because we are connected in real time, we are interacting in real time. The teacher is able to tell whether the students are even getting whatever is being delivered, or they are actually understanding the basic concept that he or she is teaching. So that is one advantage. Another advantage is that it builds a sense of community among learners. Because we are connected in real time, we feel that sense of belongingness. We feel, yes, we are a community, especially if the network is good. We all turn on our videos, we can see one another. it builds that sense of belongingness.
Exactly. So, for example, this feature in Zoom, where they have subgroups, where they can break into smaller groups, break out. I think it's like the traditional classroom where after the teacher have interacting with the student, they decide to form mini groups. So they also have that experience during this synchronous section. And I think that is a nice experience.
So we can say that it allows for spontaneous discussions and question and answer sections. So when we join the breakout session, I mean the group members are given or assigned a task to work on, and then later on they all come they come back as a group, and then they discuss or they present whatever transpired during the group section. Okay. Now there are a number of advantages, but because of time factor, we'll just focus on I think we talk about 5 of them. Now, so let's talk about the challenges or the demerits or the disadvantages of synchronous learning. All right. The first one obviously has to do with internet connectivity issues. If the network is not really good, it will be very difficult for us to enjoy the lecture. If students are going off or the lecturer is going off and coming back, you find it difficult to enjoy the lecture. So internet issue is a big problem.
Exactly. Okay. So another one too, you see, we have different time zones. US is 6 hours ahead of us now.
It depends on the state.
Yes, it depends on the state.
You talk about Australia.
Okay, Australia, exactly. When we are sleeping,
and they are also
that will be around 12. That way, in the afternoon. So I think that where students come from different continents, different countries, I think that one could also be a challenge since the learner is supposed to connect real time. So I think this disparity in this time zone can also be a challenge.
Okay, let me throw more light on what you just said. So you are a student in Ghana, or you are an individual in Ghana. You have enrolled in a program in Australia, online program, and they are doing live section. So at the time you are going to bed, maybe they are up, or when they are also up, you are going to bed. It means you have to sacrifice your sleep. So that is the problem we are talking about. So different time zones can be a challenge.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And then when the facilitator also lack digital pedagogy skills, you can't interact with your student well. You need to use variety of tools, Padlet, Tinkercad, and all those collaborative tools that the learners can facilitate. But when the instructor lacks that skills, I think that there will be low level of engagement in the lesson.
Another challenge is that synchronous learning is not flexible, or it's not convenient for individuals with busy schedules. All right. Much as you are not going to the classroom, or you don't need to travel to take part in the lecture, you, in case we have scheduled a Zoom meeting for 4 p.m., but you are at the workplace. So it is not convenient for you because you can't stop working and join the meeting. All right. So much as it is convenient in the sense that you are not traveling, it is also inconvenient because you need to join the group or the meeting at a particular time, which may not be suitable for you. So synchronous learning is not suitable for individuals with busy schedules, especially those who are working. Right. Now, technical issues like software glitches can also disrupt the sections. All right. So synchronous learning requires that everything should be in place, everything should be working. We must not experience software glitches or technical issues. Everything should be smooth. Otherwise, our learners are not going to enjoy the synchronous section. All right. Do you have anything to add? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next phase.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So this joint, I want us to focus on asynchronous learning.
Yeah.
Initially, earlier when I said that synchronous learning has to do with real-time interaction,
Yeah.
where the learner and the teachers are the learner and the teacher are connected in real time. Now, with the asynchronous learning, it is rather opposite. The learner and the teacher are not connected in real time.
Yeah.
So, asynchronous learning is a self-paced learning method where the learners assess, or the learner will access the learning materials and complete the required tasks at his or her convenience.
Yeah.
So, for example, as I'm the instructor,
Okay.
I've prepared a video. Then I'm going to share the video with my student via, it could be WhatsApp, it could be Telegram,
Yeah.
or it could be any means.
Yeah.
Now, because I am not connected with them in real time, but I share the video with them through another means, it is asynchronous.
Yeah.
So anytime the teacher and the learner are not connected in real time, it is called asynchronous learning. The teaching will be done first and then the learning. Now, let's give examples of asynchronous learning technologies.
Yeah.
So one, pre-recorded lectures
Yes.
or videos. So a lecturer has prepared a video or recorded a lecture. In any form, we have several software that we can use to prepare the lecture or to record the lecture. It could also be in the form of a PowerPoint. So if I prepare the PowerPoint and share with my student, it's an example of asynchronous learning. The UEW V-class or virtual classroom is an example of asynchronous learning technology, because an instructor will upload the learning materials to the platform, the e-learning platform, or the LMS, or the V-class, and the student will download the materials at their free place and time and learn the material.
Exactly.
But
okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, Doug. So even on the YouTube, there are some videos. We have people who have created content. Even as a teacher, you can also record different types of videos and you chunk it to units, upload it on YouTube, and then I think it's also another platform for the asynchronous learning. And even you can use other variety, even there's this Car Academy.
Okay.
Yeah, Car Academy, yeah. So they also have this asynchronous learning there. And Coursera too, okay. They also run those asynchronous learning platforms. So at your own pace, you decide when to start and when to finish.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, so earlier when I talk about WhatsApp, sending a WhatsApp or a student sending a WhatsApp message and telling me about his or her problem, and me responding instantly, is an example of synchronous learning.
Yeah.
But in the situation where the learner will send a message to me via WhatsApp, then I will check the message and respond to the student learning needs later. Yeah. So in this case, the same tool, WhatsApp, earlier on we said it will be a synchronous learning tool. But if there is not immediate feedback, if the learner send the message via the WhatsApp and then there is delayed feedback, that WhatsApp becomes, or the WhatsApp becomes asynchronous learning tool.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a watching live match and dead match.
Yes.
Yeah. So when the match is live, synchronous. So the recorded version becomes asynchronous. Yes.
If you send a message to your lecturer through Telegram, and your lecturer responds later, it's asynchronous.
Yeah.
It's asynchronous learning.
Yes.
Now, email is also asynchronous learning technology.
Yeah.
Because if you send email to somebody, the person will check later. The person is not going to respond immediately.
Yeah.
Discussion forum. So, in V class or a learning management system, a lecturer can set up a discussion forum where the learners will respond.
Yeah.
So if a learner responds to a question posed by the lecturer, or another student can even initiate the discussion.
Exactly.
When people in the class are responding to the question, it is an example of asynchronous learning.
Exactly.
So anytime the teaching is done first, or a student poses a question and he or she does not get immediate feedback, it's an example of asynchronous learning.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits of asynchronous learning? It is flexible. It is flexible, unlike the synchronous learning where, for example, we have fixed a Zoom meeting 4 p.m. and you have to be there. With the asynchronous learning, it is convenient because we are not fixing any time.
Yeah.
The material will be sent via a means or a technology, for example, WhatsApp. So if I shared the PowerPoint, my PowerPoint via WhatsApp or a Telegram, or it's in the form of a recorded video, and the students are accessing it later, it is convenient.
Yes.
It is convenient for them. You decide when to access the material, where to sit to access the material, and by what means. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah. So to add to that, like Coursera, you can start a program. So you can enroll yourself onto a course, and then you decide to finish in 1 month or in 6 months. So depending on your speed.
So it's self-paced.
Yes, self-paced. So I quite remember I wrote on a course, Coursera, and I used 3 weeks instead of 6 months to finish.
Okay.
So with this, if it were to be the normal traditional classroom, you'd be bored because the things that you are going through, you are already familiar with it. Since the pace doesn't match, you will see that you are likely to be bored. So I think that self-paced learning is one of the greatest advantages in asynchronous.
Asynchronous,
Yeah.
okay. Asynchronous is also suitable for learners in remote areas, especially where the network is very bad or time constraints. We're talking about time zones. So you're in Australia. If it is asynchronous, you download the material from LMS or another means. Okay, you don't need to worry about your sleep. So those learners in remote areas where the network is very bad, if you know when the network is good, you can decide to access the learning materials and then learn. So it's suitable for learners in remote areas or those with time constraints.
Okay.
Asynchronous learning also enable access to learning materials anytime, anywhere. So the materials have been shared via WhatsApp. Anytime, anywhere, you can access the material. It is via email. Anytime, anywhere, you can access. YouTube, anywhere you find yourself, you can access the material. As long as you have access to the internet.
Exactly. So, and then it also enhance reflective practices. You know, research shows that when students reflect on whatever they are learning, it enhances retention and transfer. Because so I've read a PDF, I've watched a video, I have enough time to reflect on whatever I've learned. But when you compare to the synchronous, exactly, okay, any question, then that's all, that ends the section. But with the asynchronous, you have enough time to reflect over the learning, and I think that is a good practice when it comes to teaching and learning. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're a slow learner,
Yeah.
I think the asynchronous will work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You can consume it at your pace.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
But during a live section, for example, whether you like it or not, you need to be moving along because we are going at a pace and you have to keep up with the pace. Now, asynchronous learning is also cost effective because it reduces the need for real-time sections.
Yeah.
Now, if anything live is very, very expensive.
Exactly.
Okay, because if you are connected in real time, will consume more bandwidth than when you are assessing the material alone.
Yeah.
So it's cost effective.
Yes.
So what are some of the challenges with asynchronous learning? With the synchronous, we said immediate feedback.
Yeah.
So the opposite, lack of immediate feedback. Now, what I want to say is that all the advantages of synchronous learning are the disadvantages of asynchronous learning, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Now, all the disadvantages of synchronous learning are the advantages of asynchronous learning.
Yeah.
This is how you need to look at it. All right. So one challenge is the lack of immediate feedback.
Yeah.
The learning material has been shared with you. You are reading the material. You don't understand anything. The teacher is not there to respond to your query. The teacher there is not there to, for you to ask him or her question. Now, your colleagues are also not there. What at best, you can contact them later. So there is delayed feedback with the asynchronous learning.
Yeah.
Now, there is also lack of real-time interaction.
Yeah.
Because we are not connected in real time, the student may feel that sense of loneliness because you feel you are alone.
Yeah.
Imagine you have enrolled in a course and you are a teacher in a remote area, a village. You find yourself there alone. So you feel you are isolated. But unlike synchronous section, where we are connected in real time, at least we can see one another, we can have real-time interaction. So asynchronous learning can be a challenge, especially if you are the type of person who learn better when you are in the midst of other people.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Okay, and then it's not easy. Discipline, when it comes to discipline, you see, learning goes along with discipline. And I think if you're not disciplined and then well motivated enough, I don't think that you can
succeed.
Yeah, you can succeed because starting, continuing, and finishing is very, very difficult. So a lot of people start learning on these MOOCs and then they can't finish because when they start, lack of motivation and self-discipline. You are learning at your own pace. No, we don't have any, let's say, somebody who is, oh, okay, if you don't get this, you'll be punished. So you just think that, no, it is yourself. You enrolled it by yourself. So you decide to do anything at all. If you don't have good schedule, okay, in the morning, I'll visit, let's say, 2 hours a day. And then when it comes to motivation, if the learning management system or the system is not well packed with good motivation, you see, sometimes when taking the e-learning, the designers, they should design in the sense that it contains some features, like motivation. Oh, correct. You're on your way to become the next Einstein. Oh, you can move mountains. So that kind of, but if that system do not contain those prompts, I think you will burn out. So, and that is one of the disadvantages. And then you see some e-learning, some learning management system have bad server configuration to the extent that when a lot of students come on board, the system begins to slow down. So these technical issues can also affect this asynchronous learning. You don't give too much server time for a learner to be on the system. So if you have shorter time, then you lock the learner out in order to create space for others. So when there's too much pressure on the system will begin to slow. And when it slows, it rather demotivates learners. Yes.
All right. So the network issue is also
in fact, yes.
is a reality when it comes to the asynchronous learning.
Yes.
We talked about network connectivity issues and synchronous learning.
Yeah.
But for the asynchronous, because it is not live, at least if you know when the network is going to be okay, you can decide to maybe wait.
Yeah.
All right. But in that case, if, for example, you have to submit an assignment or they want you to respond to discussion, discussion forum, it means that you are going to lag behind or you may not meet deadlines because of the network connectivity issues that we are talking about. All right. So let's try to compare the synchronous and asynchronous learning.
Yeah.
All right. So let's compare them in terms of some variables.
Okay.
For example, interaction.
Yeah.
All right. Interaction. Okay. So synchronous learning enables live discussions, like we pointed out.
Yeah.
While asynchronous learning focuses on reflective, self-paced engagement.
Yeah.
Now, flexibility. Flexibility. Asynchronous learning offers more flexibility compared to the fixed schedules of synchronous learning.
Yeah.
We have already made a point that if you are working, for example, it will be very difficult when they fix a time, especially in the morning. You are supposed to be at workplace, and then they are asking you to join a Zoom meeting 9 a.m. It will not be convenient for you. But if it is asynchronous, when you close from work, you can access the materials and then you read at your own pace.
Yeah.
Okay. What about technology requirements?
Yeah.
Now, synchronous learning demands high-speed internet for real-time interaction or communication, whereas asynchronous learning relies on stable periodic access. Yeah, I made a point earlier on that if you know when the internet works best in your area, if it is midnight, meaning you have to wake up at midnight and then do your assignment or access the learning material. But in case the assignment is due maybe 7 p.m. and the network is not good, that is where you are going to have a challenge.
Yes.
All right. Learner preferences. Learner preferences. So you made the point earlier on that some learners thrive in interactive, real-time environment, whereas others prefer that flexibility of asynchronous options because they feel that, well, there are some people who want to be in a group, all right, certain, to be able to thrive very well, to be able to learn better. Others also want to be on their own. They learn better. So you need to know yourself before you engage or enroll in this type of program. So if you are the type of person who want to interact with other colleagues, then the asynchronous learning will not work for you.
Yes.
All right. So in these modern times, teachers or educators try to, or institutions try to bring the two together, a blend. All right. So we have blended learning. Now the blended learning, let us not confuse the blended learning where we have face-to-face and then online. I'm talking about blended learning in terms of synchronous and asynchronous. We can bring the two together. So for example, we can host question and answers sections. That is synchronous. After the lecture, after, let's say, the learners have watched a video. So the lecturer will organize the question and answer session after the materials had been reviewed by the learners. So you send the material to them ahead of time. You recorded the video or you send a PowerPoint to your learners, and then you organize a live session for you to discuss the material. Okay, it could be a question and answers time, so that you will be able to respond to the questions that your students are facing after reviewing the material. We can also use the discussion forum. So discussion forum, remember, is an example of asynchronous learning. So before we meet for a live section, a lecturer can decide to give some questions to the student for them to discuss online and using the LMS, for example. Then it will be followed by online section, example, Zoom meeting, for us to actually continue the discussion. We can even have a debate, depending on the nature of the topic. If it's something, for example, synchronous versus asynchronous, which work for you better or something like that. All right. So when we combine the two, there are certain advantages that we can enjoy. So for example, flexibility. Okay. So we are organizing, we will send let's say the recorded version to the learners. And then we can agree at a time that will be convenient for us to have that real-time interaction. So when we combine, or the blended learning provides flexibility whilst maintaining that real-time interaction. It also appeals for a broader range of learning preferences, because we'll be able to meet our learners' needs, or the different learners. Some prefer the synchronous section, others also enjoy the asynchronous. So when we combine the two, then we are meeting our learners' needs in diverse ways.
So so you see, with that, to keep your learners awake, active in an online session is very crucial. So when we blend it, those with those who want to have that kind of social interaction with the instructor, when it's during the live session, the student or the learner has the opportunity to ask questions that he was battling with. Maybe he tried searching it online, but he couldn't find specific answers to it. So this section will grant the learner opportunity to put that question across to get the right answer from the instructor. So I think that blending, and then moreover too, when we are putting up a system, we should make sure that we factor these two things. We shouldn't say, let's make it asynchronous. Let's make it synchronous. But now we've seen the two sides of the coin. We say that so blending it will be a great deal for us to meet a large range of diverse needs. For learning to become effective.
All right. So let's talk about some practical tips for educators and learners, because we are being trained to go out there to teach. So if you find yourself in an environment where you need to make use of the synchronous and asynchronous, what are some of the things as an educator you need to take into consideration? So one, you need to choose the mode, whether synchronous or asynchronous, based on the learning objectives and student demographics. So the learning objectives will dictate whether you should go with synchronous or asynchronous. For example, if the content is said that, or the objectives for the learn is said that the learners will have to do practicals. All right. Or you need to do some demonstration during the live section. Then obviously you have to go for the synchronous, even though you can do the recording and then share with them. But during the live demonstration, the learners will be able to ask questions, in
that,
real time,
exactly.
immediate feedback,
exactly.
than when you do the recording and then you share, you do the demonstration and then you record and then you share with them, especially when you are teaching ICT.
Okay.
For example, you want to teach them how to create PowerPoint. Yeah, you can do the demonstration live in real time.
Yeah.
You can also do the demonstration and record it and then share with your students.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I said, in real-time interaction, they are able to ask questions and then you address the questions, and then that would, I think, be better than they go and watch the video and as you are watching the video, you are not getting things, and then later on you have to consult your colleague or contact your instructor.
Unless maybe the person creating the video, after recording, you should add a lot of features, interactive features, click to reveal features, drag and drop features, and then some tips. So when it comes to this type, you don't push content to the learner. So let them pull it. So you create features that can guide the learner.
So that leads us to the point. Use engaging tools and platform to support each mode. So whether you are going with the synchronous or the asynchronous, you need to make use of engaging tools and platform that will support the learning. All right. Another important thing to do as an educator is to encourage active participation through planned activities. Whether you are using asynchronous or synchronous learning, you need to plan whatever you are going to do during the live section or when it is recorded. So you plan the activities ahead of time. If you are going to have a breakout section during the live section, this is something that you have to plan in advance, so that during the live section you divide the group into let's say maybe depending on the size. If you have maybe 60 students, I'm going to have how many groups? 10
groups
or
so
5. It depends on. So this is something you need to plan ahead of time. And then whatever they are going to discuss on or discuss during the breakout sections. All right. Now, tips for learners. If you're a learner, you need to stay organized and manage your time effectively in asynchronous learning environment. Otherwise, you are not going to succeed. Because much will depend on you. You need to be self-disciplined. You need to have that intrinsic motivation. Otherwise, you are not going to succeed in asynchronous learning environment. You also have to encourage your learners to participate actively in synchronous section as well. Otherwise, people will be connected. They are connected in real time, but they are not. They are passive. They are not participating. They are not asking questions. And when you ask questions, they don't respond. But of course, it also boils down to network issues. Sometimes the students are willing to contribute, but the network is so bad that
could be a challenge.
Your audio is not responding.
Okay. And then you see, when it comes to engaging, you have to be calling your learners by name. The last time I saw you organizing a Zoom meeting, you were just calling the student by name. Yes, that's perfect. So the student feel connected. They say, oh, Doc just called me. So that practice is very good. You make sure that you know your student by name. Once in a while, you call somebody to ask a question. Not just pouring information. I think these practices can help.
All right. Okay. So gradually, we are bringing our delivery to a close. But just to sum up, what I want to say is that both synchronous and asynchronous learning have unique strengths and challenges. Now, the choice depends on factors like the course objectives, student needs, and available resources. Educators are encouraged to explore the hybrid or the blended approaches that actually integrate or embraces both modes for a comprehensive learning experience. So when you bring the two together, your learners will benefit much more than when you are focusing or you are relying on only a single mode.
Yeah.
All right. So at this point, we are going to open the phone lines to accommodate your contributions and questions. And the number to call is 050-392-3158. And WhatsApp and SMS, the same number, 050-392-3158. We are streaming live via Facebook. You can also reach out to us via Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. All right, so we'll take a break and then come back.
University of Education, Winneba, Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Send the BIA the Bremono and ne Afiason, Afe na Yahuanimus level 100 from Baba Kayensa, na Yanuomo Asia Ade Abom for 2024-2025 academic year. Nisentie, Branamani won't call Namni Komo. What's your name?
Benjamin Boama, French education. Oh, to be honest, I was kind of nervous because I've not been to such a place before, so I was actually nervous. But when I came here, I found out that everything was just as normal as everywhere. So I'm expecting to have a smooth journey to my final year.
But so your friend Udu Mesa Daniel. I'll be free to Abuja myself. Oh, this is my first time I'm a bar. And this first time so me too coin. Me ankasa me too coin gidi da. Ahanti bani ajepa many experience people here wo point mu. Ahanti we ababe history. This is first time babi amakwasi aye sunwan. Ahanti we ababe history wo mabrabo ma. Ahan na de me say ni chise na mate me say de babe no sunyan kopon be adom na yakota ye yakwakodu ho was.
I'm Isaac Ayu from Nkari, straight away from Kumasi. Actually, it was a quite interesting journey, but we have already met some people in the bus, and it's very interesting. We are here to actually build up our academic performance, learn how to interact with people, and get a lot of exposure from here. Then we go out, find something to do to help Mother Ghana.
Yeah, from me, Meredi Jenfi. Me from Nkari in the Ashanti region. Me ba me niaje. There was Sempa Hall, there was Goose Hall, like entrance. So the only video no, the same.
First of all, the affiliates coming who are affiliated to Sempa Hall, they should understand that Sempa Hall is not just a hall. It's one of the biggest and greatest hall in the University of Education, Winneba. So we are called custodians and we stand for greatness. So as they are coming, they should see themselves as unique. They should work hard, and in case there is not something they find difficult, they should try and consult the executives, and we are here to assist them. Thank you.
Okay, so all I would say is that as they come, they should participate in hall activities, focus more on their education, and also involve themselves in campus activities that will help build their holistic life.
I'm reading some of your messages. Where are my integrated home econ students? No. Let's go to another one. From the great work. Okay. This is interesting. So radio lecture currently going on is a form of synchronous learning. Yes.
Perfect.
So radio lecture is synchronous learning.
Yeah.
Because we are connected in real time.
Yeah.
You can ask me questions now. I can also ask you questions.
Someone is enjoying from home. Good.
Okay. Go ahead. Tell us your name and your program, and then your question.
Please, I'm Bennett Actor, Department of English. Please, I was asking, what we are having today, is it synchronous or asynchronous? Because we are not seeing you, but the information is online.
All right.
We are just listening.
It is synchronous. It is synchronous learning because we are connected in real time. I just delivered a lecture, and then you have the opportunity to ask me questions. I can also ask you questions. Remember, we said anytime the teacher and the learner are connected in real time, it is synchronous.
Okay, thank you.
And the tool that we are using is the radio. So the radio lecture is synchronous. Now, after this radio lecture, the recorded video, when they post it on YouTube or Facebook, it becomes asynchronous because it is recorded, it is not live. Now, when you are watching the video and you have a question, I'm not there to respond. All right. Even though you can contact me for me to respond, but there will be delayed feedback. With synchronous learning, there is immediate feedback. Asynchronous learning, there is delayed feedback. All right.
And please help.
All right. Tell us your name and then your program, then your question or your contribution. All those who are calling or sending messages, write questions. You get 1 mark.
Yes.
All right. So tell us your name and then your program, then your contribution or question.
Yeah, my name is John Jato, Department of Art Education.
Okay. Your question or contribution?
There are 2 things in which it wasn't clear for me. Where you had the example of synchronous learning as traditional classroom, and then the Gmail.
Okay. Email is asynchronous. Now, if you send me email message telling me about your problems or issue that you have concerning your learning, now I am going to respond to you later. It is not going to be immediate because when you send the email to me, it will take some time. Even if it takes 5 minutes, it is not. We don't call it live interaction. But if I'm chatting you via WhatsApp, for example, you post a question, I respond, I also say something. When there is that immediate feedback or real-time interaction, then we are talking about synchronous learning. Now, if on Monday I was in class to deliver a lecture, that is face-to-face learning. It is not synchronous learning because synchronous learning is e-learning. It's part of e-learning. And remember we said e-learning is a tool or a system that will enable the learner to, the teacher to teach and the learner to learn anywhere, anytime. Now, if I'm in the classroom, I'm stuck to the classroom. I was at lecture theater 6. All right. Now, those in South Campus could not hear me teaching. But right now, irrespective of where you are, you can hear me teaching. So it is example of synchronous learning. Face-to-face lecture is not synchronous learning. It's not part of it. We call it face-to-face lecture.
Yeah, but this one we just an illustration, and like it happens real time. You are learning, you are teaching. We just want to it's for illustration for the e-learning synchronous that way.
So anytime we are making use of e-learning or a tool or a system for us to be connected in real time to deliver a lecture is synchronous. But if we have another caller on the line. Your name, your name, program, and then your question or contribution.
Okay. I think what you said is well understood.
All right. Thank you.
Master, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah, we have another caller. Your name, program, and then your question or your contribution.
Hello.
Let's read what is
okay. Hello.
Yes, your name, question, your name, department, and then your question or contribution.
I do my name. Hello.
Okay, go to read what is here.
All right, so.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead. Tell us your name.
Vanessa Yam.
Okay.
A student from the Art Education Department.
Okay.
And my question is, like in a classroom, when a teacher is teaching, and a student asks a question.
All right. So anytime I come to class to teach, it doesn't fall under synchronous or asynchronous because it is not e-learning. If I come to teach, it is live. It is face-to-face teaching. So think about we using electronic means, to deliver the lesson. Either we are sending you a recorded version or it is live. That is synchronous or asynchronous. But face-to-face teaching, it is not synchronous or asynchronous. All right. We have another caller via Zoom. Tell us your name and your program and then your question or your contribution. We can see you. Go ahead. Tell us your name, your program, and then your question or contribution. You are under a tree. We can see you. Tell us.
Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you. Just tell us your name.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
It seems I'm facing slow network.
We can hear you.
Seems I'm facing slow network.
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear
My
you.
question is that.
Yeah.
My question is that if I didn't join early and later I got the record, is it fall under the asynchronous or synchronous?
It is asynchronous. Recorded version of this radio lecture, it is asynchronous. Because when you are watching the video and you have any question, you can't ask the lecturer or your colleagues. All right. So anytime there is immediate feedback or real-time interaction between the learner and the teacher, then we are talking about synchronous.
Yeah.
But anytime there is delayed feedback, it is asynchronous.
And so now you are enjoying synchronous.
So synchronously, you are talking to your lecturer. Even though, I don't know where, you are standing under a tree.
Yeah.
Are you on campus or outside campus?
Yes, on campus.
Okay,
Good.
so synchronously, I can see two of you.
Yeah.
Synchronously, you are enjoying the lecture.
Yeah.
All right. So all those who are not participating in the lecture, when they watch the recorded radio lecture, it is asynchronous.
Asynchronous learning. E-learning.
Asynchronous learning.
E-learning. Yeah.
All right. Got it.
So
okay, we have another caller.
Okay.
They are doing well.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us your name, your program, and then your question or contribution.
Yeah, please, my name is Martha again. Since I was asking, so far as asynchronous learning is like recording and learning at your own pace, make sure as a distance student, because the advantages of asynchronous let us know that distance education you learn on your own pace without nobody is forcing you to step. So can you say asynchronous is like distance learning?
I was not. It was not clear to me, but I heard something like you are learning at your own pace. Now, if you are learning, let's say if I share PowerPoint, okay, to your group as department, those doing the edutech, if I share the PowerPoint to you via a telegram or any means, and then you read on your own at your pace, it is an example of asynchronous learning. And the technology we are using is the WhatsApp. Okay, the WhatsApp becomes, and remember I said WhatsApp can be synchronous learning technology and at the same time asynchronous learning technology, depending on how it is used. If I shared a material with you via WhatsApp, you access it and read. It is an example of asynchronous. But when myself and you, we are connected in real time, you send, let's say you send, post a question, and then I respond. Then you also, I also ask a question, you respond. When we are having that real-time chat, it is an example of synchronous. And so in that case, the WhatsApp, all right, becomes synchronous learning technology. Zoom, when we are having live-time, real-time interaction, a live meeting, Zoom is a synchronous learning technology. When we record the Zoom meeting and then we share and then you access it, in that case, the Zoom becomes what? Asynchronous learning technology, or it's asynchronous learning.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
So we have another caller. Tell us your name, your department, and then your question or contribution.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us your name, your department, and then your question or your contribution.
My name is Abraham Bedabra.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Your department.
Yes. My question is, you said WhatsApp can be either synchronous or asynchronous lesson. And I want to ask, in the exams, when they ask, list the differences between list the examples of synchronous and asynchronous. And the point that doesn't demand for explanation for me to explain it clearly.
All right.
So it's a live chat.
I guess right WhatsApp in 2 sentences, like this one synchronous WhatsApp.
All right, I got your question. In the exams, it will be clear.
Yes.
Because we know that there could be a confusion. So if, for example, we want you to list asynchronous learning technologies, and we are including, let's say it's a multiple choice, it was going to be live WhatsApp, live chat.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, WhatsApp recorded message. So it is clear. So if it is recorded message on WhatsApp, it is asynchronous. If it is live chat on WhatsApp, it is synchronous. There will be no confusion. All right. But most of the question will be scenario based.
Yeah, scenario based, so it will be clear.
It will be clear.
Yeah.
All right. So Facebook, we have Gordon, just read.
I want to be clear on this, having one-on-one interaction with your student in the process. There is a use of technological material like microphone, projector, and other materials. How this be classified?
All right. Now, somebody want to know whether if I'm using projectors, I'm using. All right, we'll come back. We have another caller. Tell us your name, your department, and your question or your contribution.
My name is Bokonoba Chat, Political Science Department.
Okay.
And can we also say what we are doing now is both granules and granules, because you delivered the lecture before you now open the forum for us to ask our question or contribution.
I didn't get that. Did you get
yeah, no,
I didn't get you. Come again.
Hello?
Yeah, come again. It was not clear.
I said, can we say what we are doing now is it's a blended form of the granules and the granules.
It is not blended, but it is synchronous. It is synchronous. It is not blended.
You said delivered the letters before. Now open the forum for us to ask questions or.
So it is synchronous because we are still connected in real time. Yeah. We are connected in real time. Now, after this radio lecture, this real time interaction, the video that you are going to watch becomes asynchronous. So in that case, we can say it is blended because you participated in a real time discussion, and then we are also making available to you the recorded version of the lecture. So in this case, we can say yes, it's blended. Because this live interaction, not every student will be able to understand what we are actually putting across, either network issue or they couldn't join at all.
Hello, I am Ashate Michael.
We have another caller.
My question is, if for that of synchronous, if someone send you WhatsApp and maybe as a voice message to that effect, and since it is a voice message recorded to record, which is not as a live gig, is it considered as a synchronous at the same?
It is asynchronous because the person sent you a voice message. Okay, it is asynchronous. But this is how I want you to view the synchronous and asynchronous. Anytime there is that immediate feedback, there is interaction between you and the other person, then we are talking about synchronous. So, for example, if I send you a message via WhatsApp, then you also respond. Then I send, then I respond. There is live chat. Yeah. It is synchronous. But if you send me a message via WhatsApp and I access it later and respond to you, it is asynchronous.
Okay. So let me add to that too. So in a situation whereby the instructor...
We have another caller on the line. Yes, tell us your name, your department, and then your program.
Please, I'm Grace Benya.
Okay.
From Home Economics Department. Please, what you were saying, like, I don't understand it. Yes.
Okay, tell us where, I hope you are not going to tell us the whole show. Tell us where you do not understand. Yeah. You don't understand what we mean by synchronous, or you don't understand what we mean by asynchronous. Then I will explain again.
I don't understand what is meant by asynchronous.
All right. Now, when you say synchronous learning, it is a type of learning in which the teacher and the learner are connected in real time. When we say they are connected in real time, what we are doing now, you see, you are asking me questions, and then, or you just ask a question, I have responded. So there is that real time interaction. And we are using a technology, and here is the radio. All right, we are doing that via radio. Not only radio, but Facebook, Zoom, other learning technologies. So we are connected in real time via a variety of technologies. So that makes it synchronous. And why it is synchronous? Because there is immediate feedback Now you ask a question, I have responded. I can also ask you a question, you'll respond. Now, with the asynchronous, there is lack of immediate feedback. So asynchronous is a type of a learning or a learning situation in which the teacher and the learner are not connected in real time. The teaching is done first and then the learning. So for example, if I prepare a PowerPoint and I share with you via WhatsApp, it's an example of asynchronous learning because we're not connected in real time. Now, when you are reviewing the PowerPoint and you have a question, you will have to contact me later. So there is delayed feedback. So anytime there is delayed feedback, then we are talking about asynchronous learning. Anytime there is immediate feedback, then we are talking about synchronous learning.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is it okay now?
Please, yes.
All right. All right. We have another caller. Your name,
Hello.
your program, and then tell us your name, your program, and then your question or your contribution.
My name is Elizabeth Kao.
Okay.
At Education Department. To my understanding, it means it depends on how the learning and teaching is going on that you can classify it whether synchronous or asynchronous.
Very good.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the answer is it depends.
Yeah.
Whether it is synchronous or asynchronous, it depends
Yeah.
on how the interaction or
is
learning is taking place. You have done well. So right now I'm delivering a lecture via radio, via Zoom, via Facebook.
By YouTube,
So I'm using technology to do that.
Yeah.
So because we are connected in real time, it is synchronous. We have another caller. Tell us your name, your program, and then your question or contribution.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us your name, your program, and then your question or your contribution.
Yeah, I'm Gideon Achampon.
Okay.
From Political Science Department.
All right. Tell us.
Please, my question is, the synchronous. Does it mean there is time restriction?
Yeah, so when you miss, it's like having lecture 7:30 to 9:30. So when you miss the time, you've missed your learning, your lesson.
So there is time, yes.
Time
there is
frame.
restriction, or we normally fix the time for the synchronous. So for example, we are going to have a Zoom meeting at 4 p.m. So because we have scheduled a time and everybody must be connected via or the Zoom, it is synchronous. Okay, we have another caller. Tell us your name, your department, and then your question or contribution. Tell us your name, your department, your question or contribution. Hello. Tell us your name, your question. Tell us your name, your department, or your question or your contribution. All right, Gordon, let's read some of their messages.
Okay, so the first message that I read, he was talking about using projectors in the classroom. Does it make it synchronous?
So if I'm
learning?
using a projector and then a laptop, microphone, PA system in the classroom, it is not synchronous or asynchronous.
Yes.
Why? Because I'm restricted. I find myself in a brick and mortar, a building. All right. Building is not electronic. It is not part of e-learning because I find myself in a brick and mortar. All right. So right now, I am connected, okay, with you via the radio, via WhatsApp, how do you call it? Facebook, via Zoom. That is why we are calling it synchronous, because we are connected via electronic. That is what we call the e-learning. All right. And remember, I said e-learning means electronic learning. And what is electronic learning, e-learning? It's a tool or a system that will enable the teacher to teach and the learner to learn anywhere, anytime. I mean, within the context of teaching and learning.
Yeah.
When you say e-learning, a tool or a system that will enable the teacher to teach and the learner to learn anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
Earlier on, we had a caller who was standing under a tree.
Yeah.
Right. So you're learning anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That is e-learning, electronic learning, and it is synchronous.
Yeah.
It is synchronous because there's real-time interaction.
Yeah.
We are connected.
Yeah.
Okay. There is immediate feedback because you ask a question and I've responded. Now, if you are not able to watch or any student is not able to participate in this live session, and we share the recorded video or version of the radio lecture, it becomes asynchronous.
Yeah.
Because there is lack of interaction or immediate feedback.
No.
If you are watching the video and you have a question, I am not there to respond.
Yeah.
So anytime there is delay, okay, let's read some of your messages.
So another is it does it mean all live activities are synchronous?
Yes, all live activities.
Yeah.
All right.
Synchronous.
All live activities are synchronous. Okay. All dead activities, or for that matter, dead matches.
Yes.
If you are watching a match live, it is synchronous.
Yes.
If it's dead, it is asynchronous. Live activities.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's read some of the messages from Facebook. So how can we classify the radio lecture? Okay, we have answered that.
Yeah.
So the radio lecture, it is synchronous learning because we are connected in real time via Zoom, Facebook, and the radio.
Okay, you can go.
All right. We have another caller on the line.
Okay, that's good.
We have another caller on the line. Tell us. Okay, so we've lost the caller. Let's see some of the messages. I am Rebecca, offering food nutrition.
Yeah,
no message.
No message, yeah.
All right.
Okay, there's a... Okay, so
Can distraction in drawing live stream be one disadvantages of synchronous learning? Yes.
Yes.
Distractions, you are right. Distraction drawing. All right, we have another caller. Tell us your name, your department, your question or contribution. Yes, go ahead.
Please also ask my question.
Tell us your name, your department, and then your question or your contribution.
My name is Emmanuel.
Okay.
Okay.
Special Education Department.
All right.
My question is...
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
To enhance engagement.
I think the call has dropped. All right.
Yes,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
My name.
Go ahead.
I feel like, how can Tritonian learning be used to enhance student engagement and participation?
What is it? How can synchronous learning enhance student participation? All right. So I didn't get a question, but let's take it that it is how can student participation in asynchronous learning enhance participation? Now, we are connected in real time. So I pose a question, you answer. You also pose a question to me. All right. We can even have a breakout section where we group members of the class into smaller groups to go and have the discussion and come back and join the main group and report about their findings. So in that case, it promotes student engagement and then participation. Okay. Gordon, read some of their messages.
Okay, so...
we have another caller on the line. Tell us your name, your department, and then your question or contribution.
Yes, give you a chance.
Go ahead. Your
and
department.
Please, my question is, if you combine both the synchronous and asynchronous together, do you have a particular name for that thing?
You can say hybrid learning or blended learning.
Oh, you can maintain that.
All right. Hybrid or blended learning.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So on Facebook, also the lady asked a question earlier on. So questions are asked freely without feeling shy. Be one advantage of synchronous learning? Yes. Because you can decide to turn off your camera and then you ask questions. You see, even in the normal classroom, when you want to ask questions, your mate will be looking at you.
We have another caller. Tell us your name, your department, and then your question.
Please, my name is Abraham.
Your program?
Art education, please.
Okay.
My question is, if I get you clear, you said when the learner and the student, the teacher are connected, like
they are connected in real time.
The feedback immediately is
synchronous.
But when it's asynchronous, what if the teacher comes to class and teach, while the teacher will ask the question or the student will ask the question, is that one to classify under synchronous?
No, you are talking about, don't talk about face-to-face.
Face-to-face, no.
If it is face-to-face, it doesn't fall under synchronous or asynchronous.
No, e-learning.
Because it's not e-learning.
Yeah.
We are talking about a situation where we are using electronic means or e-learning to deliver the lesson or the instruction. So classroom situation does not fall under e-learning or the synchronous and asynchronous. All right, we have another caller on the line. Your name, your department, and then your question or your contribution. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead. Tell us your
Please,
name.
I'm Faustina from the English department.
Okay.
I think I'm really enjoying the lesson, and I want to make some contributions.
Okay.
That is, considering the challenges of the synchronous and asynchronous, I think it will be better when you blend it. That is the blended, or when you blend the synchronous and the asynchronous, it is going to give a better understanding, or maybe the students are going to enjoy it and they will really learn fast.
Yeah,
all right.
It's true.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Yeah. So when we bring the two together, it will help our learners to have a better learning experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So for example, that is what we call the flip classroom. So we will give the lecture, a recorded lecture, to you. You learn at home, and then we can organize a live section.
Yeah.
To okay, we have another caller. Your name, your department, and then your question or your contribution.
Please, my name is Azibi Sandra. I'm from Food and Nutrition Department.
Okay.
Please, my question is, if I'm chatting with someone and the person replies later, is it synchronous or asynchronous?
If there is delayed feedback, then it is asynchronous. But if there is a live chat, there is back and forth, you are having back and forth with the person, it becomes synchronous.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. I think we just read the last message and then we'll have to wrap up.
So, it's the same. Seems answered this question, yeah.
Okay. So we are reading some of your messages.
Okay, so please, I'm Felix from the chemistry department. I'm not clear with the blended learning method. So you
okay, we were blended. We are proposing that as a teacher, you should try to find ways and means of utilizing both the synchronous and asynchronous in your teaching, especially if you are teaching online. Try to make use of the synchronous and asynchronous. Now, the synchronous, you are organizing a live section, for example, using Zoom, okay, or Google Meet. That is the synchronous. Then you must also provide opportunity, for example, for a student to have discussion. So if you pose a question, all right, and then your learners will have to respond via, let's say, the V class or the LMS, Learning Management System. They are having discussion there. Then that is an example of the asynchronous. So you can post a question for them to have a discussion and then also organize a live session as a follow-up to maybe the discussion that they had. Now, as a good teacher, you need to actually go through the discussion forum, their responses, and then during the live session, you are going to address certain deficiencies or certain issues that you feel crop up that you need to address. So the blend is ideal because you'll be able to help your learners to actually have a better learning experience. And apart from that, you are also able to reach out to learners with different learning styles. Some prefer the synchronous, others will prefer the asynchronous. So when you blend the two, at least it's better. Okay, read another message, Gordon.
Okay, so this one is from Perpetual. Say, please, the network didn't really help from the beginning, so some of us are not fine for the start of the lesson. So how do you help us on this
All right.
recording?
I think I don't know what is the person's program. Okay, so you can go back and watch the recorded section. Apart from that, the PowerPoint presentation will be given to you. And when you come to class after watching the video, and you feel there are some questions that we need to address, we are there to help you. So you are not actually left out, okay? So just read the PowerPoint. We have already shared the PowerPoint with you. Okay, let's review the last question and then maybe we'll wrap up.
Okay, please, Akins Emmanuel from Textiles and Fashion Education. Sir, can you throw more light on the disadvantage of synchronous, that is the lack of technical issues where teachers are not okay with teaching with the technological tools?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So when it comes to synchronous learning, you see, we have a lot of tools for the instructor to use. So you need to know how to use them at the right time. There's some point that you have to pull. You have to make a pull. So we have other features that if you don't
about the breakout,
a breakout room in Zoom. So if you don't have that digital pedagogy, so using e-learning as a teacher, you need to possess with digital pedagogy, using how to use technology to teach both in a classroom and online. When you have that skills, yes, you'll be able to use them effectively. But in a case where you don't possess those pedagogies, you'll be struggling. You only, to the extent that a student can mute him or herself without knowing you, the instructor knowing. So it's network. So if you have that skill, you've muted yourself, unmute. So all these skills is necessary when it comes to synchronous
even
learning.
How to share the material.
Yes, how to share material, share your screen, PowerPoint, and then some of them, you see, they will even share their screen. the PowerPoint, instead of putting it into a slideshow mode, it will still be so all these.
And then how to use the whiteboard.
The whiteboard, yes.
In Zoom.
Yeah, the drawing board and all. Yes.
All right.
All
I think it is time.
Yeah.
We want to wrap up, but before we go, I have some questions for reflection.
Yeah.
So the first one: what challenges have you faced in synchronous or asynchronous learning? The second question: which mode do you prefer and why? How can educators balance both synchronous and asynchronous methods of teaching effectively in their teaching? All right. So these are questions I want you to reflect on. They are not assignment, but I want you to ponder over them. Thank you very much for your participation. So we are going to meet you same time next week from 5:30 to 7 p.m. All right, bye for now.
University of Education, Winneba, Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Senior Debia, the Bremon, and Ne Afiason, Afe na Yahuanimus, level 100 from Baba Kayansa, Nayanuomo Asia Ade Abom for 2024-2025 academic year. Nisentie, Branamani won't call Namni Dinkomo. What's your name?
Benjamin Boama, French education. Oh, to be honest, I was kind of nervous because I've not been to such a place before, so I was actually nervous. But when I came here, I found out that everything was just as normal as everywhere. So I'm expecting to have not smooth journey to my final year.
But your friend Odo Mesa Daniel, I'll be free to Abuja myself. Oh, this is my first time I'm a bar, and this is first time so me too coin. Me ankasa me too coin gidi da. Ahanti many ajipa many experience be brave work on mu. Ahanti way ababe history. This is first time babi amakwasi aye sunwan. Ahanti way ababe history e wo mabrabo ma. Ahan na de me say ni chise na mate me say de ababe no sunyan kopon be adom na yakota ye yakwakodu e wasu.
I'm Isaac Ayu from Enkari, straight away from Kumasi. Actually, it was a quite interesting journey, but we have already met some people in the bars, and it's very interesting. We are here to actually build up our academic performance, learn how to interact with people, and get a lot of exposure from here. Then go out, find something to do to help Mother Ghana.
Yeah, from me, Meredi Jenfi. Me SYNCHRONOUS in the Ashanti region. Me ba me niaje, ya was Sempa Hall, ya was Goose Hall, like entrance, so the omode share video no, it's the same.
First of all, the affiliates coming who are affiliated to Sempa Hall, they should understand that Sempa Hall is not just a hall, it's one of the biggest and greatest hall in the University of Education, Winneba. So we are called custodians and we stand for greatness. So as they are coming, they should see themselves as unique. They should work hard, and in case there is not something they find difficult, they should try and consult the executives, and we are here to assist them. Thank you.
Okay, so all I would say is that as they come, they should participate in hall activities, focus more on their education, and also involve themselves in campus activities that will help build their holistic life.
Hello, my name is Amina Abisbanan, a media personality at Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM. Kindly follow us on all our social media handles. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on www.edu.gh. We are the ultimate in campus radio.
Fellow Ghanaians, my name is Osman Mumini, Head of Multimedia of Radio Windy Bay. Keep listening to Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM, the ultimate in campus radio.
Hello there, this is Haruna Aaron Adam, a student presenter at Radio Windy Bay, and I'm with the multimedia team. You can follow us on all social media handles. Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM, the ultimate in campus radio.
Swala nyeme mi banye de omanye acho mi Amina Abisbanan michwoni ye Radio Windy Bay 98.3 FM ye find and ye follow our ye Radio Windy Bay ye Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, ke TikTok. Radio Windy Bay, your ultimate in campus radio.